Hello everybody and welcome to the University of Newcastle League of Legends Semester 1 Qualifier ran by the University Anime Club. Our first game tonight is going to be Scrim Club versus VERSACE. I'm not going to get that name 100% right at all and I apologise. My name's Will McCosh and here with me is Hunter.
Thank you very much. It's going to be quite fun today. I think we're going to have some good games. We have 6 teams vying for this one spot to represent the uni at the collegiate circuit. And as we're getting into champion select for this first game...
Yep, we've actually already had the first 2 bans. We've had a banned LeBlanc and a banned Hecarim. So,
yeah. LeBlanc is just not fun to deal with, especially...
You've got to plan your team around dealing with her if you let her get through.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's a really easy, obvious ban, at least from my point of view. Hecarim's a little more interesting, though.
Yeah, it's like, with these, like, a lot of these bans, I'm not sure if teams are going to focus on a particular person, or if they're just going to go for what they think is strong right now.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that now with the Malzahar and the Katarina bans. Like, they seem to be rather directed towards certain players.
Yeah, that's a mid lane pretty...
I'm kind of surprised that we're actually seeing a Ryze ban. I haven't really seen too much Ryze.
And this is an Earth mode where he is powerful, so...
Yeah,
Is there mid laner renowned for playing Ryze?
from what I've seen, I'm
No,
not sure.
It doesn't look like it, but oh well.
But it does seem like the mid laner for Scrim Club does play Malzahar, does play the Xerath, and they just... And it seems that VERSACE has picked up on that and just do not want to deal with it.
So we've got HR Puff and Stuff, which is so far my favourite name I've seen, going for an Annie.
Picking up the Annie, she's really good. She's quite versatile.
Yeah.
You can put most of the time you'll see her in support. She can be really good in those aggressive lanes. Can set up some really early first bloods, even more so when she's roaming around the map.
Yeah.
Okay. Graves is a pretty good pick, especially because you don't want the team to have the Annie Graves combo.
Yeah, it's almost a counter pick directly against Annie, but it might be interesting to... Ooh, Morgana.
Morgana's a good reaction to the Annie, just to stop those single target stuns.
Yeah.
And also Morgana is not really giving away the support pick right away. You can also put that Morgana in the mid lane and even the top lane, as some teams have been...
I would be surprised to see a top lane, but I have been wrong before. It's kind of a hobby of mine.
It does happen.
Yeah. No, Shyvana.
Shyvana, I'm not sure about. Haven't seen her in a while. She hasn't been quite relevant in the...
I can see her being relatively powerful in the jungle with the buffs from Cinderhulk, if you build her the health tank version of Shyvana, but...
Absolutely. Amumu, I think, is a bit more
a bit
viable.
of a safer and more strategic pick.
Yeah, well, the way the jungle is right now, it's actually allowing teams to just farm up a little bit.
She's gone back
back to the Shyvana. Okay, so
I do like Corki Annie though as a combination for bot lane. Annie holds them in place. Corki gets a whole Gatling gun out on them. Lands a Ferocian bomb for free.
It's another combo it's another damage combo which the Graves could have been used for also.
Yeah.
But the Shyvana, I'm not too sure about if we are going to be seeing that in the jungle or even in top lane, as Gerard seems to have picked up the teleport and the ignite. I wouldn't be surprised to see a teleport ignite Shyvana, because it does kind of work in a similar fashion to Hecarim.
Yeah, it's a scary dragon lady coming at your face from a jungle, but you weren't expecting it.
Either way, it's not going to be fun. But on the other side, we have the owner picked up, so there's the support, so that will be a laning Morgana, and it seems like it's going to be a jungle Nautilus.
Unless we have people deliberately troll picking them for the last couple seconds before locking in something different.
It would be interesting. But...
Now, I do like the jungle Nautilus with this. I think it's going to be a very lockdown heavy team.
Yes, they do have a lot.
At the same time, it's going to be quite tanky as well. Absolutely. Because all of those champions can be built with tank as primary attribute.
Yeah, for Scrim Club, it looks like they're just picking up as many supports as they can.
Yeah. Full support. Although, once again, it's a CC heavy team. There's very little in the way of healing.
Yeah. Oh, they picked up the Xin Zhao. That's probably going to be going to the jungle. Yeah. So that will be the top lane Shyvana and the support Janna.
Yeah,
and the support Janna. So not what we expected.
No, we're doing a terrible job of casting because we're getting everything wrong. Like,
Well, to be fair, like the flex picks that are very rarely flex picked
yeah.
have been done this game, so
Okay. We have got an almost entirely tank lockdown build coming.
from Versace, yeah.
From Versace, like,
Yeah, you got a
Okay.
Mundo who is
going
going
to
to
provide slow, but he's going to be the front line with Leona.
and Mundo, if left to his own devices, will become unkillable. Which is probably good that Gerard on the Shyvana has actually picked up the Ignite, because that is going to be sorely needed coming into the middle late game, because without it, Mundo is just not going to die.
Yeah. We've got the Annie Ignite, you've got the Shyvana Ignite. And
Yeah. I mean, having the multiple Ignites is really useful for having the Mundo. Also for that aggressive early game. So we got this massive CC tank team from Versace.
Yeah, and
Kind of a
basically
kind of a
individually
bursty.
powerful picks from
Scrim Club.
Scrim Club, but no, I don't really see the synergy,
The synergy
at the moment.
the synergy doesn't seem to be as pronounced, but I think that they could get pretty good picks.
Yeah.
But they'll have to be careful about having the Morgana around, because if you try and get a pick onto either the Morgana or someone with the Morgana nearby, especially seeing how this is more than likely a laning Morgana, the Black Shield is going to be doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Also, you've got a lot of slows in that team, which means Morgana's ulti is going to be easier to land and easier to like maximize on.
The setup of these team fights is going to be really important. Like, if Versace is able to establish vision control and get the massive team fights in there, like the way they want them to, I can see this fight's going very heavily in their favor.
Yeah. It's going to be... I actually think the plays are going to be decided by the dredge lines from Nautilus.
Yeah.
Because he is going to be the first man in the fight, slowing everybody down, holding them in place, but all those other quite time-intensive CCs to land and do the real damage.
Yeah, like dredge lines and zenith blades,
Yeah.
and just what's going to start, or even a binding, but
Yeah, Zenith Blade does a very similar thing. I've just...
just go flying in there and
Yeah.
just get everything started. Doesn't matter how, just as long as things get started.
Nautilus' ability to slow multiple people rather than Leona's ability to really only do it one outside of her role that I think is going to make the difference.
But I think that the way that Gerard on the Shyvana has picked up the teleport ignite, it's probably going to be he's probably going to be playing it very similarly to how a Hakram would play. Just play very split push orientated. Just try and dominate the lane. Just get really big enough to just 1v1 pretty much anyone, and if it comes to team fights, just dive into the backline with the Dragon's Ascent or whatever it's called, and just annihilate the AD carry at the very start of the game.
I believe the ability is called Become Frickin' Massive Dragon.
Yeah,
I think that's its technical name.
Yes, that does work too.
Yeah. It's one of the more bizarre ults schematically I've always noticed, because it doesn't actually make her do much more damage from her autos. So it makes her a little tankier.
Yeah.
But it actually alters her abilities more. And when you become a dragon, you assume you become this beast that wails on people with autos, but that's not the case.
You do kind of wail on people.
Yeah, but only so much as you would have done in Lady form.
You're going to be wailing on people pretty hard anyway. And at least, well, with these compositions, even with all in engage from Versace, if the Jano is able to get a decent monsoon and just reset the fight, I think that Scrim Club should be able to
in
turn it around.
The Annie Tibbers can do the same thing.
Yeah, like just if people start to get a bit too frisky and try and encroach on your terrain, just sort of drop a Tibbers on them and just say, no, you are not coming here.
Yeah, my bear says you're not allowed in this cave, leave.
Yeah, well, that should be interesting. There we
Excellent.
go.
It is loading
It
properly
actually is
into the
loading.
overlay. There was a little bit of worry there for a second, but it's all good now.
We'll probably just be waiting for people to actually load in.
We will be. I do like Friday Corky. That's one of my favourite skins ever.
I do like it, but like I remember quite some time ago that a lot of pros wouldn't use it because the crit animation had a different window, like attack frame timing or something like that.
Oh, really?
It had like a delayed. There was something to do with the critical animation that made it so a lot of pros would not use it in professional play. We don't have rules like that.
Yep.
We don't. We're just on the live servers, just letting anything go. But
it will have been fixed by now.
I assume it has been. But
Yes.
But yeah.
HP Puff and stuff letting down the team with the loading time, man.
Well, we've got to get them toasters going. Yeah, at least he is using the best Xinjiao skin. We're off to a good start, right?
Yes, we are. Professionally and highly sophisticated stream, this is.
Well, it could be worse, I guess. I don't think that needs any much more saying, but yeah.
Sweet. So.
It'll be interesting to see if any kind of invade shenanigans tries to happen.
Would you mind clicking on another item to try and get the tooltip for Hunter's Machete to go away?
There we go. Okay, just organizing people like so.
Okay. Now, I don't think we're going to see any invades. Neither of the teams are what I call particularly made for it, outside of possibly the Morgana and the Gianna, but...
You don't want to be taking Q first as Nautilus, especially, like, even more so when you're in the jungle. Like, if you're, like, playing the support Nautilus, which has been coming up a lot more recently, you wouldn't mind taking the Q first, but if you're jungling, you need your other abilities to actually make it through the jungle.
Yeah, so much of your damage actually comes from the passive element of your shield, providing the extra damage. It's nearly impossible.
And also with the buffs to his Riptide, the cooldown of it is a hell of a lot lower. It does a whole lot more. You're able to use it more. That actually maxing Riptide is actually the more preferred option now with the jungle Nautilus.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we're not really seeing too much with everyone just making sure that the junglers can have a reasonable start.
We are actually seeing a little in the way of dropped frames. If it gets any worse or is a problem on the end of consumers, can you please let us know in chat and we'll get our technical wizards that are in the other room to do something about it.
We are not the wizards.
No.
We are not the wizards you're looking for.
Most definitely not.
Yeah. Okay, so as we get...
So yeah, we've got a pretty standard start. One side starting Gromp, the other starting Crunks, sorry. Gromp and Chunk.
Krogs.
Yes, that one.
Krogs
I'm
and the
great
Gromp.
with words.
Drad's actually going for the Raptors right off the bat. One of the few champions that actually can.
Yeah, normally you're looking at like Warwick and Trundle, like super healthy champs that can actually go for that. I'm a little surprised by that choice because she has been forced to back straight away.
She does get the level 2 right off her, being able to get into the lane with a few extra potions and a ward.
Yeah,
it's
it
very much
teleport, but again,
very much in the Heck Room style of things. Just get in early back and does it. Like, you're not really going to be needing that teleport, like right off the bat.
And I suppose she is laning into a Mundo, which can't apply a great spike of damage straight off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Mundo is much more of a passive. I'm actually surprised that they picked the Mundo into Shyvana, because when Shyvana was more of a meta pick, it was as a counter to the Mundo, because she would just pick up the Blade of the Ruin King and just ruin his face.
Yeah, because the ability to apply that second on Hick Prot straight off the bat, it's just so much percentage.
Well, there's a gank into the mid.
Yeah, nice stun, nice knockup. I think this is a death.
They should be able to finish it off. Yep, the kill goes over to the Xinjiao, but that's okay. Getting a Xinjiao fed can be quite terrifying.
It's never a bad thing. The other important thing is Morgana was forced to burn a flash.
Yeah, and still died anyway.
It's a very scary thing going into an Annie, because you're never quite sure when she's going to lay down that damage.
Yeah, Morgana actually is going to be needing that flash, especially like if they're going to go for a repeat gank, because now that they know that that flash is down, they can just get us
apply more and more pressure to that lane.
Absolutely, they can get a certain stun and then just have the Xinjiao come in and then just kill her all over again.
Now the Black Shield will keep her alive if she can time it right, but it is one of those abilities you have to time right.
Yeah, and in the AP versus AP matchup, your Black Shield is probably going to die rather quickly, even though you have more of a shield. The enemy having a lot of AP or
The
magic
enemy's
damage.
damage scales quicker than your shield does, sadly.
Absolutely. So unless you're maxing it first, you're not going to get a whole lot of it out of it.
Yeah.
And it
So
looks-
we're seeing kind of a passive farmy jungle from Nautilus, which is completely in line with what you expect from a Nautilus jungle. Obviously, Xin a bit more early gank focus with Audacious Charge and I believe 3 Talon Strike. It's
yes, absolutely. Got that one right.
called? Damn, scoring points.
One thing to notice is that in this top lane, the farm discrepancy is getting a little bit too...
silly, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Mundo is relegated to having to farm with Qs, and even then, Gerard is just blocking them.
And at low levels, it is actually kind of hard to fight farm with Qs because of percentage-based ability, obviously.
Yeah.
And the minimum damage applied is still relatively low.
Absolutely. And, like, Mundo can farm under tower really well because of his cleavers and I think it's his E that gives him extra attack. Anyway, there's an... Ooh, the Nautilus
the
take
mid-range line.
the Valkyrie just in time to keep him safe. They're just going to just stand face to face and just say, come at us. We're not scared of you. You miss your abilities. We're just going to stand here and just not care. Oh, Xin goes into the Nautilus.
And we've got the Jana Whirlwind knocks up. It is not going to be enough, though.
It is going to blow the flash on the Nautilus.
Yeah.
As they go in again. Then,
The owner should be tanky enough to survive this, but I'm worried the Nautilus is going to overcommit. No.
Yeah, they're just going to
He
back
was
out.
the right kind of passive. It's all good.
Yeah, if
But
they...
it is going to give them the opportunity to pick up the dragon.
Yeah. That should be just a free dragon. The Nautilus was too low. The owner got dropped below half, and the Greys...
Oh.
Is that actually going to be a trade?
Yeah,
it's actually a trade.
I think that was a pretty substantial misplay. Like, the
Giving-
Shyvana is so far ahead, she could drive that up to another 20 or so CS difference, and then dive with impunity after buying some armor. But
Yeah, giving the Mundo at least some gold is probably not going to be in her best interest.
Mundo benefits more from the little gold he got than the little gold she got. As
A
well.
little bit of an all-in in the bot lane, but as no one has any more mana... Oh, the
Yeah,
Tibbers
the
dropped
Tibbers,
on the Morgana,
although
and... Yep.
Yeah. A tiny bit of miscontrol there on the Tibbers, but it doesn't matter. The kill was still very much picked up.
As we said, the flash being down is very vital
Yeah.
on a Morgana, because if you know that's down, you can just throw everything at her and just CC her to death, and that is exactly what happened.
She has a relatively slow base movement speed, which is something that's often forgotten about her.
Yeah.
So we're going to have just a defensive play from the Nautilus. He's going to defend that tower with his body.
Not,
He's tanky enough to cop it, but he's not going to have a good time trying to stand against this Annie in lane.
he's tanky, but he's not as tanky as you would think.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what happens when you're playing
Well-
Nautilus. You feel like you're a lot tanky than you are.
Yeah.
Because
it's all
you're
about that
giant.
belief. You're a giant man in
You're
armor.
a giant man of metal. You kind of expect yourself to be a little bit more tanky. But yeah, you're just not having that defenses early.
What's going... So the bot lane has been pretty much a non-event.
It's just
as
been a
it
lot of
were,
farming.
yeah.
There was an attempted gank. There wasn't much happen from that because of Valkyrie and a lot of missed abilities.
Yeah.
But this top lane is pretty much where a lot of the advantage is being held. There's a 2.5k gold lead, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of that is just in the top lane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you've got just shy of 1,000 gold difference.
Between the Shyvana and the Mundo, and that is purely on CS alone.
Although I think we're about to see a tipping point in bot lane, because Graves with a BF sword is far more terrifying to me than a Corki with merely a Phage. I mean, I understand the Phage build,
Yeah.
but it's not.
You want to be going for that
part
Triforce, but
Yeah.
and they're going in on the Mundo. They do have the Ignite.
Nice, yep.
Well, it was already used anyway, but
doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. He was dead. He was the lack of vision just allowed Xinjiao to get in there and just CC them to death. And this Xinjiao has actually been a really good pick for them early on.
Yeah, I was a little confused. I accuse them of lack of synergy. Those were my exact words, but it's working quite beautifully.
Well, they're just managing to get those picks. I think if VERSACE is able to get into those team fights with the Leona or with the Nautilus ult they should be able to stack up some decent CC and just get the damage from the Graves going across them, but looking like right now it's looking like it's just the damage is negligible and the tankiness is even less, especially with how far behind Mundo is.
Yeah, we've got a Valkyrie and I'm not sure what was happening there, but I thought we were about to see a kill with that very aggressive Valkyrie. Collateral damage just drives the aggression out.
It's not doing much.
Scrim Club's bot lane, so...
There's a hell of a lot more of nothing. It's just trading. It's just trading. Oh, there's actually
we've got a teleport coming in here from Shyvana. She doesn't have dragon form, but didn't need it anyway.
Yeah.
See, this is
yeah, now that she's actually accrued a lot more items and is able to do a lot more, they can actually make those dives.
It's funny you referenced the similarity to playstyles for Hecarim, because she's actually gone and built Boots of Swiftness. So, the single most Hecarim build item in the game.
You want to go fast, you want to get in there, you want to start hitting things. And it's working quite well. Got the mass, about almost 50 CS lead over the Mundo.
Yeah. We're looking at a dredge line possibly. Oh no, depth charges.
They're actually managed to do a lot of damage, but the lack of mana on the Morgana is not helping. She does actually go down. It's a bit of a trade kill, but...
Yeah, unfortunately that missed dredge line means that Annie was able to get off another spell in her rotation, because she wasn't CC'd.
Yeah, and the lack of mana just...
At this point though, being 7 kills to 2, you're quite willing to trade 1 for 1, because it brings you closer.
Yeah, absolutely. The percentage difference is a lot.
On top of that, a kill and 1 assist is far more powerful than just a kill.
It probably would have been able to be just a single kill if Morgana had the mana to use the Soul Shackles. She flashed in for it, but probably didn't realise that we're running out of mana at the same time. As I said, more skirmishing in the top lane as Shyvana's just bullying this Mundo, just having a torrid time.
Right. We've got...
Just more pink ward.
Yeah,
just some shuffling.
Just ward wars. That's what we're going for at bot lane.
Yeah, and another kill in the top lane. Just Shyvana's just way too ahead. And once she gets to Blade the Ruin King, would probably be in another 800 gold or so.
Yeah,
that matchup is just going to go even worse, and that's just going to transfer over to the rest of the map essentially.
Especially with this Xin Zhao picking up a lot of assists and a lot of kills. Well,
already
2 and 1 isn't a lot, but for this point in the game,
for this
the
point
amount of momentum it is.
Yeah, the very important early kills.
I do love the interaction of Valkyrie with a bunch of different abilities.
Yeah. They're actually trying to get all in by the Leona, but they just did not have the damage, and Corgi's just able to apply a lot more damage.
Offensive Valkyrie in about a couple seconds, and rockets to finish off this Leona.
They do have vision of her, so they know that she's there, but they're just going to walk away. They will be able to protect this pink ward, though. Nautilus does not want to mess with those two, because they're probably looking quite strong. As Xin Zhao goes in again on the Morgana, and just does not have enough items to just sit there. And also the flash forward from Annie just kind of seals it.
Yeah, it makes a bad day terrible.
Absolutely, especially when Annie looks like to be rushing straight for a death cap, just not wanting any kind of utility, no mana regen, no cooldown, just want damage, just want to slam that Morgana right in the face.
Actually see how kind of tilted the Mundo has become, because a Bambi's Fire and Sunfire Cape, really good items, but they're not the kind of items that a winning, confident Mundo will generally build.
Did you call it Bambi Cinder?
I did.
I'll let that go.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just have this mental image of a tiny little burning deer following people around and making everyone's life hell.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
My mind
but let's just
it's not a reassuring place.
Okay, let's just let
let's move on a little bit.
Yeah, now, they're going for Dragon number 2.
We've seen the swing back away. Those 2 kills picked up by Corki has allowed him to get the momentum with the farming.
Yeah.
So
the Play the Ruin King is up now, so that Mundo is just going to have even a worse time. And without that tower, he has nowhere to go back to.
And it's not so much just the passive part, which obviously will chunk his health, but the active part slowing him down.
He's not getting anywhere. As Xin Zhao looks to be getting the Leona. Oh, just a bit of a bop in the head. Oh, no, there he goes. He gets the kill. Another dash in helps. As the depth charge
does have a surprisingly short cooldown.
Yep.
Passive from Nautilus.
He's just going to
get
trapped. Any stuns. Xin Zhao CC. It's just
So at this point, we need something like a Baron fight or some pretty impressive team fight to bring it back
Yeah.
for VERSACE.
That's quite worrying when you consider that VERSACE's team comp is all about team fighting.
But they're not
But they're
getting
not-
to the team fight stage
Yeah.
because it's these little 3-on-2, 3-on-3 skirmishes that they're unfortunately consistently losing.
And yeah, that's exactly what...
mean-
like, those little skirmishes is exactly what Scrim Club wants. They want to be able to just like that, just
Yeah.
kill them. Just
Walk up and
Just walk
unload
up.
everything all over Morgana's face and watch her die, and that may have been poor phrasing.
No, that's fine.
Well, again, while that fight was happening, you're seeing how deep into their jungle the Xin Zhao is. Look, they
the Shyvana
pretty
is
much
just
have lost
sitting...
control of their entire side of the map.
Shyvana's just sitting in their jungle, just slamming this Mundo. He's not getting the chance to farm at all. He's about 80 CS behind.
Yeah, you know it's a sad day when you're forced to smite a Tibbers. Even with increased smite cooldown now, or
Yeah.
decreased, sorry. It's just like, you know you're not having a great time.
Yeah, there's Morgana and the Mundo being 1 and 5.
That was a nice split there, though. That was very neat and controlled, because I was worried that was going to turn into another kill.
It could have, but yeah, I don't think the bottom lane is as much of a problem for VERSACE
As
as
the rest of the map is. I do rather emphatically agree.
the 5-1 Shyvana, the 4-1 Annie. Those two are the ones that are going to be going all in and just
Yeah.
wrecking not only the front line at this point, but also the back line. As the Northlands is going to
Once
try-
again, walking with impunity throughout the entirety of VERSACE jungle and picking up those kills.
it's just,
And I mean, I think we're about to see another pretty diabolical engage up top. No, Mundo has sadly been forced to completely hug towers, and that's rendering...
he was trying to hug towers back on his first tower, but even then it was just not working for him. But then again, Shyvana was able to freeze the lane in a way that
Yeah.
the Mundo was forced to play in a particular
Okay.
playstyle. All the Monsoon
Very
used,
nice
yes.
Monsoon, very nice.
And that's what I was saying. If they try and go all in, the Monsoon will just reset that fight and just let them get away with it. And that's where Scrim Club's team comp actually comes into its own, because you don't want to be playing those big all-in team fights where all that CC can be stacked on.
Okay, they know Xin Zhao's in that bush, they just pinged it, but...
Willis goes in,
Yeah, and
tries
so
to
does
jump
the
out, but the
Shyvana.
Shyvana goes
So
in
now
also.
Mundo is on the wrong side of the wall. That was
there's
a...
no tower. And
That was a
a
bit
questionable
of a-
flash?
That was a clench flash. The complete opposite of a clutch flash. And
Yeah.
I don't want to besmirch the dead, but unfortunately it didn't go well.
And an all-in in
See,
the mid lane. Just,
That was a complete cycle of Morgana's ability, bar Tormented Soil.
and that wasn't
Did
really...
nothing.
It was
Yeah.
not even close to killing the Annie. It's too far ahead.
Yeah.
And
She makes a beautiful dead statue, though. Well, she's got that going for her.
yeah, well,
So yeah, Tibbers applying quite a lot of pressure to the tower.
yeah.
Allows Annie for an AP caster to be surprisingly good at it.
But meanwhile, the
Can
top
I
lane
see
is just
the
going to
first
go down.
inhibitor go down?
They're just going to go all in. Just
Yeah.
they're just way too far ahead. That it doesn't even. Oh god, the
Oh,
flash
dear.
from the Zinjao just kills
Now
him.
we are going to see a kill, I think. Here, I have faith. I believe.
Well,
I may
Morgana
have believed in error.
Morgana has already used all of her ability. Oh
Is this going to be an ex-Peke? Like,
Nah.
it kind of is.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It stayed around too long. Did get the inhibitor though, so it is worth in a way.
Yes, although it is shut down gold, and quite a lot of it at 8, I believe, would have been 6 kills? Yeah. We've had this chat disabled, so it won't actually tell us the amount.
Anyway, well, the mid Sulfur doesn't really help either.
No, it doesn't.
If you have this all-in team comp, and that's just a little bit sad.
Yeah,
They're just too far behind that even if you do hit your engage, it's hard to actually get in. Oh, there's Annie's dragged in, but actually does manage to flash out. That is a bit of a benefit that they won't have that Annie flashing in on them with the Tibbers.
yeah, but the passive is already up, cycled through.
And Annie's trying to get position. Oh,
We have the dragon, we have the massive Tibbers! And everybody just exploded.
Yep, everyone just dies. You have a Shyvana flying in when has a Triforce. Okay.
Yeah,
Triforce on a Shyvana.
It's a luxury pick. When she's that far ahead, she can just build those damage items that
might as well.
are part of the core.
Might as well when you have 10 kills and you're up about 100 CS over your lane opponent.
Yep, pretty much.
Might as well just go for the blade into the Triforce. Might as well go full Jax build.
Yep.
It's just not been the game for Versace. It's just every step of the way, Scrim Club has just had the advantage. From the laning matchup in the top lane between the Shyvana and the Mundo to the early ganks in the mid lane to blow the flash as well as getting the kills and repeated ganks and repeated kills. It's just been a repeated...
There is no other word other than repeated.
It is a repeated pummeling. It's just, there's not much else to say.
One of the other things is Scrim Club have been really nicely on top of their rotations.
Yeah, they've been...
And there seems like there's always been one extra person in the lane for them, irrelevant to what's happening. And that's just something really hard to counter when you're on the back foot.
Yeah, the depth charge was used, but there was absolutely no follow-up engage, so that's just one major cooldown that's used for nothing.
Now gone for a minute plus.
Pretty much. Dredge line actually just hitting a minion again.
Those
dredge lines have not been the best.
Yes, the dredge lines have been slightly confusing is the word I'm going to use, but at the same time he's not been able to build as tanky as he'd like. He's only just finished his jungle item and his boots.
Yeah, the tip has just been dropped, and that's a lot of magic damage.
Have you seen my bare tibbers?
Oh god.
On your face.
Actually, the Annie does go down to the whole combo, but it doesn't really matter as Morgana goes down anyway.
Is siphoning through the inhib. Yeah, all three of them are down.
All three are down.
Double super minions will start being spawned.
They probably could just finish it right here. The death timers aren't all that long, so and Graves is still around to clear waves. But
as you know, I'm a complete passive. At this point, I'd back out, take Dragon, take Baron, and then come back stronger, harder, faster. But I am, as I said, a coward and a lover of Death Punk. Daft Punk.
Wow. But to be fair, Scrim Club has every option available. Yeah, they have every option available to them. They can
Let's go take red. It's not a bad option at this point.
They are not... They have no pressure put on them in any place on the map.
Yeah.
No, the pings are being made onto the Baron.
Yeah. The first of the double the double minion, super minion waves of... Yeah.
They're
so that's the first of the massive waves. They are picking up Dragon by the look of it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, because they only have one attack damage champion effectively in their lineup, these super minions are going to be surprisingly difficult for them to shift at the 20-minute mark.
I won't be surprised to see a Banner of Command. Just as a style pick.
You're a terrible, terrible person, but I want to see it as well.
It's really fun to see a Banner of Command against very...
Although, admittedly, if they're going to take the Baron, it effectively is just doubling up on the same thing you already have.
Why not both?
I'm not a tiny little Spanish girl. That's why I don't want to go for both. Gotta be honest here, man.
Fair enough. They'll just get the Baron and then just... Well, they do have vision of it, but there's not much Leona can do.
Okay, if Leona gets this with the Solar Flare, she's a god. Well, sadly, she's just a mere mortal.
That was a bit premature.
But, hey, it happens.
That happens.
They're struggling. They had the ability to explode a lot of damage, so she did have to be conservative with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they knew that if they just kept going at a steady rate, that she was going to unfortunately blow it too early.
Absolutely.
And once again, the super minions...
They're just not able to deal with them.
They don't have the attack damage to fight them.
Yeah.
That was the first defensive ult I've seen from Xin this whole game.
And they're just going in and cleaning up. They're just way too far ahead. Having the Baron buff and just being ahead.
Yeah.
Well
Baron
over 20k.
Buff super minions are pretty terrifying.
Yeah, having over 20k.
So,
that's
game one. Game.
Scrim Club just takes that pretty handily. But
yeah. They're definitely, I would say handily would be understating it somewhat.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think that was a very clear case of individual outplay.
Absolutely.
Beating out what I would view as a more solid meta team.
Yeah, the team composition from Versace was well put together. It had they had the control, had the durability, had like a damage over
But they
time.
didn't get enough farm, enough kills to build those things
Yeah.
into something real. And because they really started feeling the lack of straight up damage, with
Absolutely.
only having Graves as one of those upfront damage dealing champions.
They needed to at least, if the game was a bit more even going into the mid game,
Yeah,
there probably could have been a bit more
yeah.
of a
But
contention.
That 5 to 6 kill deficit, as
Yeah.
well as about 100 cumulative farm across all lanes,
Putting
was just too much.
putting the Mundo and the Morgana behind that fast so quick, just shut out any chance of a durable front line or a strong, powerful engage from the Morgana. It just shut down so many of their options, and the Leona just was not able to do enough.
I think if I was to, I would have knocked out, I think, Nautilus from that lineup and gone for somebody like Trundle personally.
Actually, I probably would have put the. I think if you put the Nautilus in at the support instead of the Leona and have some other
Yeah.
more
you-
bruiser, like a Rek'Sai or something like a Jarvan, something to
Jarvan will probably be the call.
apply
I think, yeah.
apply a bit more pressure early on, because what we saw there was the Xin Zhao was able to apply a lot of pressure early, able to get the early ganks in, kill the Morgana over and over, and just get the whole team ahead.
Yeah, and that snowballed for the entire thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but we have plenty more games to go, and we don't know. VERSACE may get themselves into a stride and bring it back. We're just going to put up the schedule for you guys now, so you can have a look at see what's happening. We will be casting Swell Team 6 versus
Isn't it that
VERSACE. Oh no, sorry. UoN VGC versus Here for the Memes. I think you already know which one I'm going to have to support based solely on the name.
Oh god.
But anyway, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back soon.